So hello guys, I am SHOWOFF. So today I will going to do a servicing job on this Polar, old Polar. So I don't know what's the model and it's not printed on the label and it's a repainted fan. Now this fan is giving service since 1970's, I hope so. But I hope it's rewinded fan. But that's not an issue because today I will do a bearing replacement on this fan. Obviously I will put some used bearings because I don't want to put new bearings because I don't got the permission of putting new bearings of the money, as you know. So whatever, I have many used bearing in my stock, but whatever, that's a different point. But let's replace the bearings, and obviously I will put ACH bearings that is very less used, so and don't have any squeaking noises. So let me first show you the working of this fan. So now I've turned on the fan, as you can see. So the acceleration is pretty slow, and yes, this fan is running, hopefully, I hope, with a 3.15 microfarad capacitor, because I put it last time. Around 3 to 4 years it's running with 3.15, since it's a rewinded fan and it's an 18 pole motor, and yes, it's a 56-inch fan, not a 48-inch fan. So whatever, let's see the airflow. The airflow of this fan is quite good, but don't expect it to be a what I will say, means to be too high or too low, but it's very affordable airflow. Means the airflow what you should get from a 56-inch fan of 1970 you are getting now. So it's quite good fan, and it, as you can see, the motor shape is quite awkward. So as you can see, and it's a repainted fan. So let's do the servicing job. Since the bearing is making squeaking noises, I will just remove the blade and I will first show you the squeaking noises, then I will remove the fan from the ceiling. So as you can see, I have removed the blades, and these are very heavy quality blades. So as you can watch, one blade is pretty heavy. I can just feel it on my hand. It's pretty heavy blade. The shank is also, means typical oldie shank. The blade is pretty wide blade, and the weight of the blade is pretty much, means if you calculate the 3 blades all together, then it must be around 1 kg, 1.5 or 2 kgs or kilograms. So whatever might be, let's show you, let me show you the motor. So as you can see, here's the motor. So let's start the motor, and obviously full speed. So it's struggling to take full speed. Now it took full speed. As you can hear, all kind of junk noises. That's a 6203, and inside here is a 6201. So I hope the capacitor is dead and the rotor is not dead, but I have to check it, or else it may be possible that the rewinding guys did a wrong rewinding, because without blade 18 pole acceleration so slow, that is not good. Whatever might be, let's see what's inside and what's going on. So let me remove the fan first. So as you can see, I have disassembled the fan and cleaned the label. So the label is this is the label. Let's the camera have a focus. So it's a Polar for my HECL user, Sunil Fan Industries, 210 to 230 volts capacitor fan. So this is a super thick Polar. So let's disassemble it. So the thing is that this shackle is like Usha, it's threaded type shackle, as you can see. The thing is that this is the fan, so the bottom canopy, this screw needs to be removed, this downward screw, and this pin needs to be removed before pulling off the bottom canopy. So let's do it. So the disassembly of the fan is quite complicated, but it's not as complicated as a SP motor fan. So this is 3.15. I don't know if the capacitor is good or bad, but it's Tipcon, so it should be good because it's an oil capacitor. So this is the junction box, this is the winding wire, this is another winding wire, and 2 wire. So overall I hope 4 wires. So let's remove the wires and let me show it to you. So as you can see, here are 4 wires coming out, which I literally hate. So as you can see, the red is the main winding or the exterior winding, the black is the auxiliary winding or interior winding, and these 2 are neutral. So I literally hate this kind of 4 wire configuration, because since this is a rewinded fan and the original color of this fan was ivory, as you can see from here. So whatever might be, let's do the disassembly. Oh, I see. This is the absolute reason why this fan don't take speed. Because the mechanic who was there, the mechanic was so illiterate, he rewinded full main winding and only rewinded 2 coils of the auxiliary winding, which is totally illegal and unsafe for a ceiling fan. And as you can see, here is a broken circlip, but I have to remove the circlip now. So this is the bottom bearing. So they are, I can see the upper bearings mountings. So whatever might be, the winding is literally slightly coming out. So no, that's not an issue, but never rewind this fan in temporary. If you want to rewind this fan, rewind it full, only for saving some money and making a great income for the the mechanics who used to take the fan from owner's home. For them, for their 1 or 2 rupees income, they force the winding guys to keep the unwound windings like this and replace these windings. So I want this fan to be again burnt and I will rewind it. Otherwise this thing is totally garbage now. As you can see, this temporary rewind and this is unbalanced rewinding. So that's why the fan don't take speed. That fan behaves awkward and the fan behaves like worst. I can guarantee you, if you rewind both the windings properly, then this fan will behave good. And yes, this is a 9+18 winding. So I will suggest you to make it 18+18 because it will give you more torque. So if this was 18+18 and only 2 coils are replaced, then that will cause no issues, but no harm, because as you know. But since this is a 9+18, that's why a 3.15 capacitor also means don't have any torque but heats up the fan. This is the main reason behind it. So whatever might be, let's remove the windings, let's replace the bearings. As you can see, the bearings are total garbage and it's making bad sound. So it's dead now. So whatever might be, let's remove all this junk and let's do the repair. And today I will not rewind the fan, I will just change the bearings with these guys, SH guys. So finally I have bought this fan home because in my cousin's home, I think somewhat this auxiliary winding got tempered and the auxiliary winding failed, and that's why also I had said you previously that I have to replace the bearings, but these bearings are too tight and is shaft fitted, so I need a different type of puller. So let me introduce with this puller. So this is the puller, and yes, as you can see, here is a circlip. So I have cleaned the shaft and you can see the circlip very clearly. So let me turn on the flash first. So as you can see here is a circlip. So I need the circlip opener, which is lying here in my room. So this is my room, or you may say my workshop or personal room or whatever might be. So now I can properly remove the circlip, as you can see, and I have to remove this bearing, but this bearing is too tight, And this kind of construction, I hate this construction when the bearing stuck in the upper body, because I have to means this kind of disassembly is quite a mess. So because the removal of the upper bearing is quite tough in these models. In case of hybrids, there is a locking cover. So the thing is that the bearing only stick with the upper body of the hybrids, or the similar for GC also. The bearing sticks with the upper cover, or other fans, Usha, whatsoever. As you can see, but in this case there is no circular lock space, because as you can see, these holes are only these holes, this continuous holes. So I cannot fix two bolts from inside and outside to a similar hole. So I have to either buy this kind of cover and put from inside by drilling this cover and make threading on these holes, means new holes. Or the second thing is that I may also pull out this bearing and sand this shaft, which I will going to do, sand this shaft and make the bearing slightly easier for fitment, and then I will have to make the fan. So now what should I do? I should since the winding is rip or the winding is dead, I'm doing now, what should I do? I should just cut the windings from here, because it's not required, and as you can see, all the wires are totally toast. So just shake the wires and pull out like this. So as you can see, it's dancing, but now all the wires came out, 4 wires, garbage. So now I can easily remove the bearing, since this pointed part, as you can see, this pointed part will get inserted like this in this shaft and will pull the bearing out. So let me just do it. Yeah, if your wires are soft, then you can just pull back these wires from the from here, and then also you can release the bearing, and then also you can insert the wires. So this is the case, no issues. Let's first remove the bearings, then do the sanding job, then rewind the fan to 18+18 and use proper number of turns, proper gauge of wire whatsoever, and make the fan to its original power, since the rotor ring is still alive and it's not overheating or whatsoever. So let's do it. So guys, finally I have released the bearings, as you saw. First of all, this is the original bearing since 1970s. The second part is that, yes, this part is very much oily, that's why I have to grab it like this. So I have to sand out this particular shaft, because this shaft part, I hope, is quite tight fit for 6201 bearings. Similar is happening with the opposite side also. The shaft part is quite heavily tight for the 6203 bearings. So what should I do? I should just sand it using 80, 100, 120, 150 respectively, and I will make the bearings easy to fit using a puller like the GEC fans or the Crompton Hybrids fans. As you know, GEC or Crompton Hybrids can fit bearings on the shaft only, but their fitment is pretty firm fitment and it's not over tight like this puller. So this puller is actually over tightened bearings, which I totally dislike. So whatever might be, as you can see, this something is on the shaft, as you can see. I don't know what is that. I think some scratches or whatsoever. So let's just sand up the shafts and let's make the bearing more easy to fit in this shaft like the GC or Crompton Hybrids of 1970s. So whatsoever, and also rewind this. Now I will explain you another term regarding this kind of junk rewinding technology. So now listen carefully. So one thing, the circlip has broken because previous mechanic damaged the circlip whatsoever. Now see, I'm advising you why to don't just rewind the temporary poles. So as you can see here, the quantity of wire that is used in these cloth wrapped windings is quite less when you compare with these rewinded coils. So why so? Majority of the mechanics and wiremen and these winding guys have no brain at all. They think the original winding have more conductivity compared to their supplied windings. Yes, this is somewhat correct, I know that, but this is not like an aluminum versus silver. This is only copper. So 1 to 2% less in conductivity doesn't prove anything bad. So if the winding guy wanted to make this fan real good, real surviving fan or whatsoever, then he must use only this much of copper. Means as you can see the number, means that quantity of copper that is cloth wrapped here, this much of copper is enough for this, but he has overused the windings. Now let me show you by removing the cloth of one winding what's the thickness of the wires. So first of all, as you can see, these are these wires are pretty thin when you compare it with the rewinding one. As you can see, both are inside the camera. The right one is the rewinded and left one is the original. So the original is probably 36 SWG or 37 SWG, and this one is 35 SWG. Most probably it's looking like that only, and I can also see the same thing in my bare eyes also. So this is the main mistake when you are winding temporarily temporary poles or singular or whatever. First, I will always suggest you to completely rewind the fan, or if you don't have so much money to do it, then use the exact same standard wire gauge of wires and try to use the exact same number of turns. Means you can also during manually during manually winding this fan up, you can easily understand what's the thickness of this bundle and what the thickness of the bundle you are making. So by that way you can also determine the approximate amount of turns. So if you are using the same thickness of copper, then obviously you can understand you are over making it more turns or less turns by watching the bundle thickness. So you have, if you rewind like that, then it will be better. But if this kind of it means unbalanced winding is there, then obviously your fan will take a very long time to take full speed, and you have to put heavy capacitors, but still also the fan cannot take proper full speed like the original. And I will obviously recommend you guys, whatever might be the planet gets reversed or whatsoever, if when you are rewinding this kind of fans, always make it 18 plus 18 poles, because it means, as you can see, this is 9 poles, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So here is 9 poles. These 9 poles are in the same orientation. So here in outside there are 18 poles. So if you consider from here, for example, if you consider it from here, then let me say you north south north south north south north south north south, and it goes on alternatively and it ends up in south. Now internal windings, as you can see, there is no intermediate pole here. North 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 north. So you are thinking, where is the south gone? Yes, there is no south windings, because if you make it north south, then that will be a different phenomena and different polarity. So if you make it north 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 like this, then the polarity remains the same, because calculate the number of knots in the exterior winding. There is 9 knots and 9 souths. So if you put here 9 knots, then obviously the rotor and the magnetic lines of force will obviously assume this empty part as the south pole, weak south pole, induced south pole. Yes, this is induced south pole, obviously, because of the magnetic lines of force. So if you want to make the induced south pole more stronger, then you have to make it 18 pole like the external windings, as you can see. So I am going to make it 18 plus 18. So there are many fans out in the market which having this kind of singular number of poles. So I will obviously suggest you guys, if your fan is burnt, try to make it means dual poles, that is north south like this. So 16 poles. If there is 8 poles, then make it 16 pole, because if there is such a gap, then you can all make it. I hope so. I think there will be no such problem in making that thing, because I hope these gaps of each holes, as you are watching, the gaps are almost same. As you can see, I also made my hybrids like that. My hybrids got this winding of the hybrids got damaged by me only during childhood when I was going to disassemble my one of the hybrids, and I rewinded it in 2014, I hope so. So that was this kind of orientation, 9 plus 18. But when I rewinded, the rewinder guy was so good, he made it 18 plus 18. So the gaps of these holes are pretty equidistant, so you can make it easily 18 poles, like the way I did my hybrids. So I will show you my hybrids later on, but let's do the rewinding. And always remember my advice that if you are rewinding your fan, make it obviously dual pole, north south, and that will make more torque, that will support your fan more, and that will heat up your motor less, and you will need less powered capacitor to drive the same speed, means same torque whatsoever. So guys, as you can see, I have took all the accessories for repainting of the fan. So I bought Asian Paints 100 ml brown paint, as you can see, and the name of the paint is brown, and it costed me 40 rupees. MRP is 43 rupees, and it's made in 11/20/20, made by, as you can see, whatever might be, Mumbai. So these are two brushes. This is a 1-inch brush and this is a 1/2-inch brush, and this is a tip-on capacitor 2.5 oil capacitor. Always try to use oil capacitor in your fans for superior performance. So these are the bearings. So this time I am using FAG bearings. So you can remember FAG. Maruti Suzuki uses FAG bearings, these brand bearings, as an OEM product for the vehicles, for the gearboxes, for their accessories. So whatever might be, 6201 rubber sealed and 6203 rubber sealed. So these are the rubber sealed bearings of FAG, I mean. So the previous one was NSK bearings in the polar fan, and these are the sandpapers. So here are many grade of sandpapers, like the 80, 100, 120, 150, 180, 320, also 220 and 400. So let's start the rewinding process also, and I will not rewind, I will give the fan to rewinding shop, and I will start cleaning, means sanding down the full fan, then do a repaint. So whatever might be, guys, let's do it. As you can see, this is the level of the fan. So I have removed the rivets by hammering it from inside the motor using a pen, because the rivet holes are totally drilled through the motor. So I have used a pointed thing to reverse out the rivets from the motor upper body, and as you can see, this is the level. So this is the back side of the level, nothing much. So this is a repainted fan. It was previously the upper motor body was red and the lower motor body was ivory, but now my uncle painted it brown. So let's do again brown, but this time without the level. As you can see, I have to clean the level because the paint was everywhere on the level. So when you are dealing with this kind of stuff, always cover up your level using insulation tape before painting, and if you don't cover up your level, then remove the level, or otherwise just break off the level if you hate the fan. So guys, the winding is back. As you can see, I have rewinded it to 18 plus 18. So this is the actual winding that should be a fan having, especially the 56-inch fans especially, and every fan should deserve this kind of winding. So as you are watching, the winding is looking pretty clean. So something garbage is here sticking on the shaft, but that's not an issue. So it's looking pretty clean. Let me turn on the flash for you. As you can see, it's a machine wound, and the thickness of the wire is 35 SWG or 35 standard wire gauge. I have also sanded the shafts, both the side, for an easy bearing fitment, and I tried two bearings on it, and it easily fits, but not a loose fit, mind it. So let this winding be dry because this is wet due to varnish, and let's just paint the motor. So let's do it, and also the blades. First let me clean up everything, then I will sand and I will do the painting job using this paint, Asian Paints. So guys, let's start painting the fan. So for this reason we need some paints, a thinner, as you can see it's paint oil or thinner, a brush and a container for mixing. So there is no recommendation for mixing this paint on the container, but I should use 70%, 80% paint, 25%, 80% paint, 20% thinner, because that will be a good paint, means the mixture whatsoever. So guys, as you can see, the paint job is completed and this big giant shaped motor is looking nicer. Some these paint streaks are here. I know that these are some bubbles or whatsoever, since this is a brush paint and not a spray paint, but it's looking better than that of the previous condition. I hope so. The canopies are also looking good, nothing else. It's like a matte finish. This canopy looks better, but whatsoever, the motor is looking somewhat like a metallic fan. So whatever might be, so let's install the motor and let's see what's the performance. But let me show you the other side. Obviously the other side is nothing much, so let's install it. So I have purchased bearings. So as you can see, this is FAG bearing. So this bearing is originally supplied by Maruti Suzuki in their vehicles, and this bearing is this is not a old brand, it's probably a new brand, but since 2000 this brand, I hope so. So I saw this kind of this brand bearings in Crompton Motors also, means the fractional horsepower motors that are supplied for compressors and whatsoever, not the pumps I am talking about. So whatsoever, this is a good bearing, so that's why I bought this. So these bearings are here, as you can see, here are the sizes mentioned. So let us have a focus. So the 6201 and 6203 rubber sealed. So as you can see, this bearing costed me 6201 for rupees 120 and the 6203 for rupees 140. So you may say 260 for two, and let's install the fan without wasting any more time. So here is the winding. As you can see, the 18+18 pole winding. I have put sleeve here and I have put some cable ties here. As you can see, the cable ties, and I shoved the wire from this here, as you can see. So now let's install it without wasting any more time, and I feel this will be the more powerful because 18+18 is worth the power, and 2.5 capacitor will be enough for this. So let's install it. And yes, this one is quite heavy, it's not light. As you can see, it's very thick. Also the rotor ring also, I have put some paint on the rotor ring because it was quite rusting, that's why. And this is the upper cover. So don't think these covers to be light because these are damn heavy and damn thick. As you can see, this is the thickness, so whatsoever, and the internal thickness is same of the bearing, as you can see. Whatsoever, let's install the fan. So I have put here something written here just for a memory purpose. So let's install the covers. So this is the front cover, as you can see. So let's fix it. So the previous bearing, as you can see in this fan, was 6203. It's a naked bearing and it's NSK brand. As you can see, this small one also, this NSK 6201. I don't know why they written Z in both the bearings, but these are NSK brand bearings, and I hope these are original bearings supplied with this fan, but I don't like this brand. So whatever might be, let's put this FAG bearing. So as you can see, the packaging is typical like of SKF packaging. The packaging is exactly similar. So let's just remove the packaging. As you can see, it's a permanent package, so you cannot again pack this bearing back. So it's very good because anti-theft. Now as you can see here, it is written something NBR plus FE 13111, and in this thin brim, in this thin edge, let me show you. So here is written FAG and here is written 6201 and India, and here is some serial numbers out there in the top. So this is a rubber seal bearing. So just for an assurance, let's remove the seal and let's check the grease. If there is slightly crisis of grease inside this bearing, so we will top up it using this SKF grease. As you can see, NLGI3. Always use this kind of original grease, SKF NLGI3, because this is golden or white grease and not red grease or junk. And I have also bought a circlip that exactly fits on the shaft, and here is a circlip fitment. So you have to fit the bearing first on this shaft and apply the circlip. So I have sanded the shaft well so that the shaft is smooth. Let's just clean the shaft using sandpaper and let's just insert the bearing and let's lock it up. So let's do it accordingly. So as you can see, I have faced little bit struggle to fix this screw, because I have to remove the down nut, and after that I have fully tightened this screw so that 100% safety is there. This locking anti-wobble nut is also tightened, and here as you can see in the canopy I have cut some rubber part here so that there is an ease in the fixing like this, and after fixing just rotate the part so that the canopy just don't jump out. So this is the clever system. So guys, as you are watching, this is the holes, this is the label. Let's align the label here. I have cleaned the upper cover from fingerprints using WD-40. So guys, as you are watching, the painting of the blades is also completed. As you can see here, the painting is somewhat looking like metallic types, but whatsoever, I am not an expert in painting job, but whatever might be, I hope this paint is very much glossy and it will look good. And I have also fixed the shank before final coat. As you can see in the back side, here is a dab of grease or whatsoever, because I applied grease here for tightening the screws so that it don't rust. So the back side I didn't put any coat after fixing, because the screws thread will ruin if the paint sticks on this, that's why. But the front side I did apply a coat so that the screws become blade color and it looks good. So let's fix it on the motor. So as you can see, here is the motor. So the motor is quite heavy. I hope the full fan is around 9 or 10 kilos, but let's fix the blades and see the performance. The fan is running quite good, the 2.5 capacitor having enormous torque. So let me show you without the blades first. So as you can see, this is the fan. Let's start it in full speed without blades. So as you can see, the starting torque is quite high. It slammed the S hook very heavily, and I have stopped it now. So the rotation is also quite for a long time because of the heavy motor and very high inertia of the motor. So let's put the blades and let's enjoy the fan. So guys, as you can see, the fan is looking enormously large because of the 56-inch sweep. So let's start the fan obviously in full speed and watch for the 18+18 performance in 2.5 obviously. Wow. Wow, the acceleration is pretty much increased, and I hope this is the full speed. And I hope, since this is a rubber seal bearings and it's running for early times, the bearing is quite tight, but it will be freeing up after a few days of usage. So as you can see the fan, so the airflow of this fan is quite good. It's exactly running as a 18-pole fan should run. The speed is exactly like an 18-pole. The airflow is quite good. So it's pretty good fan. So I will post the comparison video of the GC versus this Polar versus Crompton hybrids later. But let me just finish up the video because this video is too long. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. So if you guys enjoyed this restoration project, then please press the like button. Don't forget to share my video and subscribe to my channel for more such kind of videos and stuff. So thank you guys for watching.